And then I went to work for a company where I became the HR director. I stayed home for about 6 months because I did negotiate one heck of a severance package because they were trying to send me home with $5,000. And that's what we're not about to do because y'all know I could really sue you. Started at $60,000, right? I started making $60,000 in a lower title. So a lot of people were like, why'd you go to a lower title? It paid more money. I remember one time when I was only making $30,000 back in the day. Not while in my HR career, but back, well, I will say, well, I've been 40,000. Before that, it was like 35,000. So at the start of my career, I was only making 30,000. Now I'm taking jumps that take me up 30,000 in less than a year. Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Heyyy HR, and I really enjoy making videos to help HR professionals not only start but grow their careers. So if you're coming here to learn anything about HR, if you want to start your career or you already started your career and you're trying to take it to the next level, then you found the right place. I have not only been working in HR for the last almost 13 years, where I started as an HR assistant, worked my way up to HR director. Now I happily sit as a global human resources business partner. I also have my master's degree in business administration. I also have a master's degree in human resources management, and I have a master's degree in human resources leadership. In addition to having all this experience and knowledge, I also have the highest level SHRM certification, which is the SHRM SCP certification. And I just want to share some information with y'all because honestly, I've always said that I wish somebody had sit down and really taught me throughout my whole career. I've had some directors that have really fed back into me, but I never had anybody just sit down and kind of walk me through my career. I always felt like I had to figure it out. So now I'm here to be that for you. But what I do want to tell y'all about is how to get the bag. Sometimes you got to take a little gamble. And I'm not saying this is going to work absolutely every time. I want to definitely tell you about my experience. So if you want to know how I increased my salary by $30,000 in less than 9 months, then definitely keep watching. All right, so let's go back a bit. First of all, if you're on my email list, you already see that I sent you an email that kind of gives you an idea of what my salary was like up until I became like an HR generalist or something like that. And I stopped it because I don't feel comfortable, and we know people don't want us to talk pay, definitely in the US. So I didn't want to show where my pay may have been now, so I stopped it a few jobs back. But I wanted to show you that there can be a fluctuation in your salary because I think now we're in a place where everybody want to make six figures. And I want you guys to know I was not making anywhere near six figures for a long time in my career. And there were times that I went down, and I went down for different reasons. And at the end of the day, it worked out for me. At one point, I was an interim HR director. When I worked at that company, I was also the recruiter as well as the journalist because our director had got terminated. We were looking to hire somebody. Anyhow, at that time, I was making about $67,000 per year, US dollars. And so they terminated me. I was totally happy with that because my plan was to quit. If you know my story, then you know. If not, then I had worked for a company that really hated the fact that I was transparent with employees and that I supported employees as well as their mission, as well as helped the company, but they really wanted to backdoor employees all the time. They kind of put two and two together and was like, Tamika out here helping people. And so they not only put a private eye to watch me, when I was out on FMLA, they had a private eye watching me at home. But then when I came back to work, they later terminated me because me and the director did get in heated conversation. I was absolutely happy about that because my plan was not to go back to work after FMLA. And then I went to work for a company where I became the HR director. I stayed home for about 6 months because I did negotiate one heck of a severance package because they were trying to send me home with $5,000. And that's what we're not about to do because y'all know I could really sue you. So I sat home for about 6 months and worked on my YouTube channel and growing my YouTube channel and things like that. Then I became an HR director. I only worked there for a few months. It was for a small company, kind of family owned, but they brought in crazy revenue. So I told them that my plan was to make no less than $70,000. I had told them this in my interview. I said this to the previous HR director. Apparently she made no notes. She talked to nobody about it. So when I started that company, they started me with $65,000. And this previous director said, hey, we're going to start you at $65,000. You do well in 9 months or 3 months, then you'll go up to the $70,000 that you requested. Okay, cool. I started working there. 3 months went by. We had a little 3-month review. They said nothing. I felt bad because I had to ask for this money, and the person I reported to, the chief operating officer, was very rigid about not giving me this money. And I'm like, well, I never would have taken a job because I made more as a HR journalist. But anyhow, we went up. And over time, it was just things like that, like with that particular leadership. The biggest problem for me was travel. Since the travel really sucked, where I would spend 2 hours getting to work and 2 hours coming back, I felt like I was wasting 4 hours of my day. I just started doing client calls with Heyyy HR. And so I was like, okay, now I'm running late for client calls. I was refunding people money because I'm running late, rescheduling, and it was just a big inconvenience. And I hadn't worked for a company in all of my years of working in HR where I had to do that extensive of a drive for work. I decided I was going to quit that job. My VP that I had talked to 9 months before, she reached out to me perfect time and was like, yo, you can come on. This is a global tech company. We can bring you in as a senior talent acquisition specialist. This is where you can go. And I was like, okay, cool. And I went with that and resigned from the HR director position. So I resigned from that job where I was making about $70,000. And they brought me on as a senior talent acquisition specialist for a global company, work from home, remote, unlimited PTO, amazing benefits, sent me a slew of technology to be able to work with, and they started me at $80,000. I told her, I'm gonna come at $80,000 because I'm about to walk out from this job. But just so you know, $80,000 ain't gonna work for me. But I'm gonna take it because she was like, well, what's your career goal? I was like, I wanna be a HR business partner. And she was like, what salary do you want there? And I told her what salary I wanted there. She was like, okay, we're gonna try to get you up to that for now. This is where you are. So I went in that job and I enjoyed being a talent acquisition specialist. Like I truly enjoyed it and I killed it. I met all kinds of crazy goals where, our time to fill used to be up to 85 days. I shrunk it down to 45 days and then got my personal one down around 30 days. I was hiring on amazing talent. I was learning all of my leaders, my managers. I was teaching them how to interview better. I was providing resources and stuff so that they could interview better and did really well. So in 2 months, it was performance review time. I had only been there for 2 months. My director was like, you killing it. And I got extra money in my budget. So I went from $80,000 to $83,000 in 2 months. So I continue to do really well in that position. All of the directors, executives are requesting me to be their talent person. I'm training my team when they need help or, letting them shadow me, things like that. So in 6 months from the time that I started, which is 4 months from the time that I had gotten the last pay increase, I went up to $90,000. And I was like, okay, this is cool. We're getting closer to my number, but I'm not an HRBP. What can I fuss about? So I started doing really good in that role. And then she talked about me going into HRBP role. Now, just mind y'all, we started at $60,000, right? I started making $60,000 in a lower title. So a lot of people were like, why'd you go to a lower title? It paid more money. I had more freedom. I had more flexibility. It was what I enjoyed. The perks far outweigh the title. I don't pay attention to titles. I look at what I want to do, and if this salary meet my budget, is this meeting my financial goals? So as you can see, I was an HR director at $65,000, went up to $70,000, and then went into a senior talent acquisition specialist role. And in less than 9 months, I went from $80,000 where I was making more than when I was an HR director, went to $80,000 and swooped straight on up to $90,000. So I went from $60,000 to $90,000, $30,000 in less than 9 months. So the biggest things I want y'all to know is that you want to make sure that you pay attention to the industry. The industry makes a big difference. I go from working in real estate industry and I go working in tech. Tech industry was better than the real estate industry as far as my salary. You want to look at your company size because the real estate should have paid me just as much as tech or very close, but the company size was very small. We had less than 100 employees, but in the tech industry, we had over 1,100 employees. We had over 1,600 employees. So that makes a big difference. You want to look at the company makeup. We were a global company that brought in sales generations from various avenues. When I worked in the real estate business, we only had one. People come in, rent these nice homes on the beach, or they buy them or what have you, and that's where we made our money from. And so that's a big difference for you guys, for all of us. We all got to pay attention to that. The next thing is that all tech companies are not created equal. Startup companies is not the same as like established tech companies. So you want to pay attention to that, because startup companies can pay you really well, but they're going to work you to death. Like, you're going to be a person that has many hats. So be very, very careful about that. Don't get excited just because they tech. Make sure you know what this job is going to look like. But if you just want the experience, maybe that works for you. But I will say, starting in a company that wants you to do a little bit of everything, when you go to a structured company, you get a lot, I ain't even gonna say a little bit, you get a lot confused about what your role is because you're so used to doing everything. All right, so next tip is layoffs are happening far too common in the tech industry right now. So I probably will pause on really trying to find a job in the tech industry unless your networking skills is up to par and you know some people. So I just want y'all to hear about this experience, because honestly, you really can make this jump. I remember one time when I was only making $30,000 back in the day. Not while in my HR career, but back, you know, well, I will say, well, I've been 40,000. Before that, it was like 35,000. So at the start of my career, I was only making 30,000. Now I'm taking jumps that take me up 30,000 in less than a year. So I hope this helped you guys, because y'all, I ain't gonna tell y'all no lie. I'm in my fields if I'm gonna share this publicly on my channel or if I'm going to share this with my membership group that's on YouTube. So if you're not in a membership group, then this is one reason to join in, because this is stuff that can really damage my career, stuff y'all don't know about that goes with me later. My YouTube channel has caused me to lose opportunities taken away, things like that. And I'm just trying to avoid that at all costs. I don't know if I have to go back into the workforce, and I enjoy being in the workforce. So we'll see if this video ends up on the YouTube membership group or to everyone. For right now, if you're new here, then I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're returning, I thank you so much. Either way, please hit the like button for your girl. If you're not already subscribed, then definitely subscribe. I honestly cannot wait to see you guys on the next video.